Welcome.
Thank you.
I am very excited for this conversation. We are going to use a lot the word of conflict, which is your specialty, right?
Yeah.
I want to tell you a story.
Okay.
Are you a fan of Marvel
I
movies?
have been. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I am a huge fan myself, and
Okay.
one of my favorite movies is Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Have,
The first
have you
one.
watched
Seen the
Doctor
first
Strange?
one. I haven't seen the sequels yet.
Right. So Doctor Strange is a very successful doctor. He's a neurosurgeon, and his specialty is how steady his hands are when he does the surgery. Something happens to him, um, he loses that ability. And then he goes on about doing this journey of finding some way to heal himself.
Hmm.
I'm not going to spoil for those who don't know the story, but he ends up in the mountains in Kathmandu somewhere, and he ends up with a guru who is called the Ancient One. It's supposed to be this wise woman who knows about human spirit and the power of human mind. And she tells him something. There was somebody who was paralyzed that goes to her and he starts walking. So Doctor Strange goes to her to find out how she healed him.
Yeah.
And she says that open quote, he couldn't walk and I convinced him that he could, end quote. In our pre-interview discussion, you said something similar. You said that I help people believe in themselves so that they can do things that they think they could not do before.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah. I mean, the quick answer would be I don't know, but I do know some. I mean, I think I get people to believe by showing them the little things. It takes a step at a time. Nobody goes from. So, for example, when I was coaching, an athlete isn't going to run a 20-minute 5K. And then because I tell them that they can run a 16-minute 5K, they're just going to run a 16-minute 5K. You got to build those blocks. You got to show them that they can do. So they may not believe they can run a 16, but they also may not believe they can run a 19. But you get them to 19. Well, you accomplish that. What's to say? And also just trying to reframe things. We tend to say what we can't do, but we don't know what we can't do. Right?
Wait, please say that again.
Yeah, we set our own limits. We say, I can't do that. Why? Why can't you? Well, because I can't. Well, how do you know you can't? Well, I just don't think I can, or I don't think any human can, or whatever. I mean, we set our own limits in our own brains, and we live up to those limits. We will never exceed. It's a very rare thing. There's some exceptions where something extraordinary happens, but we almost never will exceed our own beliefs about ourselves and about our world. We believe in a certain world. We expect it to behave a certain way. And so it does. But every once in a while, somebody doesn't. And so a classic example of that is the 4-minute mile. So I don't know what year, but there was a time when all these people were trying to break 4 minutes in the mile. So, and experts, scientists, the people who know everything, of course, they were saying you can't break 4 minutes. A human cannot break 4 minutes in the mile. And then they had this little asterisk. But if they did, they would die because the human body wouldn't be able to handle it.
Okay.
So they not only said you couldn't, they also gave a little asterisk of if you did, you'd die. So people are running. All these guys are trying to break 4 minutes in the mile. They're running 4 minutes flat. Like they'll be on pace to run under 4 minutes. lap, after 4 laps of a 400-meter track, 4 laps, 3 laps on pace, under 4 minutes. And in the last lap, they'll slow down just enough to run 4 flat. How does
Mhm.
that happen? The brain. Roger Bannister breaks 4 minutes in the mile. And then I don't quote me on the numbers. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think something like 12 people broke 4 minutes in the mile the next 3 months. The world record was reset over the next 3 years, like a gazillion times. And I don't know what the world record is now, but I believe it's something like 330s. So there's an example. That was an absolute. Everybody knew you cannot break 4 minutes in the mile. You can't do it. And then even the asterisk, or you die if you did. And now high school kids run under 4 minutes. So it's just, that's an example of how when people believed they couldn't do it, their brain took over, their subconscious took over and made sure they didn't do it, made sure that it fulfilled the reality that was expected. So how many things do we do that with? I work in
Yes.
running. That's kind of a fun one to be able to work with that, or I have worked in running. I'm not now, but um, it's applicable to every aspect of your life. How do you know? So when somebody says, I can't do something, I don't know why you would say that. People do extraordinary things. We live in a world of rules, some of which we've created, many of which we've created. Human body is amazing. I've just was reading something the other day about how different hormones are converted by the body into totally different hormones. Our bodies can do amazing things that we don't even comprehend. So why can't we do almost anything, if not anything? I hate to use the word almost. I'm hedging my bet there, but I don't know. That's kind of the the background to that, I guess.
I mean, sometimes we need somebody in authority to tell us that we can. Deep inside, we might know it deep inside, but we don't believe it until somebody in authority tells us that we are able to do it.
Yeah, because we're looking for some proof, and a person of authority, we give them credit for being smarter or more experienced or knowing more. And so we give them that, and then we take it back from them if they give us the right thing. That's why leadership is so important, right?
Yes.
Because you can help people to do things they never dreamed they could do, or you can shut people down and cause them to not accomplish all kinds of things that they were capable of.
Right. And you coach athletes who are runners only?
Yeah, my yeah, I got into the sport that doesn't pay any money and doesn't have any glory.
Oh, no, don't say that.
No, yeah. It's like anything. I kind of discovered running, and it helped my self-esteem at a point, when I needed it, and then I kind of stumbled into coaching too, and then I found out I was really good at it, and I really made an impact on people. And I think that's the joy, being able to help people accomplish things they never believed it. I did that in running. Like, I accidentally ran faster than I thought could ever run. That's kind of how I know this. And then later thought, well, I want to help other people figure this out, because again, yes, it's running and it's great if somebody runs fast, but in the scope of the universe, it doesn't really matter if somebody runs fast or doesn't run fast. What matters is, what are they learning? What are they believing? And how does that translate? You can only run fast for so long anyway. Human body does change over time. So what are the things you learned from running that translate to the rest of your life? And then hopefully you're going to translate those or give those to other people as well.
What did you learn yourself that changed your belief about yourself?
Yeah, I think I had a ton of I don't know if they'd be limitations. I didn't even know. Just I grew up in a difficult home, and so I kind of had to find my own way for the most part. Didn't have a lot of guidance or help in a lot of aspects. And I joined track really because the track coach came through the locker room after PE one day and said, "You should join track." Oh, okay. If he believes in me, I should. And so I went out to track, and I kind of didn't take it seriously at first. My junior year, the big thing at my school, we had a really good track program, and it was a very team oriented track program. And the best thing you could do is make the relay. which is not an individual event, it's 4 people, which I love because I'd rather work with 4 people to succeed than succeed on my own, or for myself, I guess you'd say. And so I was trying to make the relay, and there were a lot of good guys on the team. The previous year, I think they'd finished first or I don't know. They'd finished very high at state, so it was a very hard team to make. And I had run like 50. I don't know if anybody's going to know times, but I'd been running about 56 seconds for 400 meters. So not great, not horrible, just kind of there. And they put me on the relay at a meet. And so it was at Snohomish High School, and it was a big relay meet. And I'm second leg, and I get the baton, and I'm running down the backstretch, and the Snohomish guy is right next to me. And this guy was built like he had to be a running back or something in football, like a neck as big as his head, muscles bulging out, his face was bright red. I remember all this to this day. We're running down the backstretch, and he's like gritting his teeth. And we get to the 200 mark, and there's one of his teammates goes, "Get him, Iron Man!" And Iron Man goes, "Ah!" And I went, "I got to get away from this guy." So I just I was half out of fear, just kind of took off, tried to get away from Iron Man, crossed the finish line. Manager comes over to show me my split, 51.5. And I'm like, who are you talking to? Because not me, I'd run 56. 51.5, that kind of drop is not possible. People don't drop that much very often.
Is it good or bad?
Really good.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's really what kind of sparked me like, oh, wait a minute. I never believed I could run faster than, say, 55, 54 seconds, something like that might be my best. 56 is what I normally run. So if I can run 51.5 because I was scared by Iron Man,
I love it.
then what does that mean? What am I capable of? Now, I got to be honest, I don't always live this because it's hard. It's hard to believe in yourself. It's hard to believe in impossible things. It's hard to believe in them and then have the perseverance and determination to keep at them. So I have to remind myself of these very things, even though I've experienced them or I've taught them or I've seen my athletes run dramatically faster. I still have to keep reminding myself because we're humans and we really work against ourselves in amazing ways. We're pretty good at sabotaging ourselves.
Why do you think we do that? Because this is so common in so many. Some of us, yes, some of us, we are born with this self. We know what we are capable of, and we just run through life doing things without even asking for any kind of validation from other people. But most of us, we just lose it very early in life, believing in ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, I could go on a spiritual rant about it, but I don't
Please
think I
do.
will. I think that we're in a we're in a fallen world. We're in a world that is not right. It's not perfect. It's not the way we were meant to be. I believe we were built, we were created to be amazing. And we're not in that world. We're in a fallen world where people do things that aren't good to themselves, to others. I think at an early age, you're faced with comparison. You're faced with being told you can't. All kinds of people for sometimes not, sometimes intentionally to try to knock you down. Probably more often than not, just they didn't do it, so they don't believe it, or they don't. I mean, people limit. I don't know the full aspect of it. I don't believe that's how we were designed. I don't believe that's how we're meant to be. I do believe we'll have to struggle with that for this lifetime, but we can make it better and better even in this lifetime. And I think we're tasked with that. I think we're supposed to make ourselves better. We're supposed to help others be better. We're supposed to pursue that change. It may not come to full completion during this lifetime, but I believe there's more to this than this lifetime. So
Thank you for explaining that. You mentioned spirituality. Do
mhm.
you use that in your coaching?
Well, it was easy because see, I don't coach now, but I coached 22 years, and both universities were Christian universities.
Ooh.
So it allowed me. There's good and bad to that. I'll be honest. In being there's some amazing things in being able to integrate faith and spirituality and these things with something like running. I mean, I took a whole person approach. So we tried to build people in every single way that would help them in life. And yes, because it was a private Christian environment, I was
Mhm.
free to just explore that and help people with that. There's another side to that sometimes, but yes, in those environments, I was able to do that very freely. Now, everybody comes from different backgrounds and has different beliefs.
Right.
Even at Lipscomb, where I was last, even though it's a very strong Christian school, we had all kinds of different faiths on the team. We had different, people from all over the world, all over the country. So you're working within, a lot of different people. Even though you have your beliefs, you're trying to make sure everybody is growing and is comfortable with that.
But how can one, because we are all extension of the divine,
Mhm.
right? It has to do with the essence of us, correct? And that power that we possess, the leadership power that all of us possess inside of us,
Mhm.
that has been given to us, to all. Some of us, most of us actually, are not aware of that power.
Yeah.
They think they just have to follow some leader or
Yeah.
somebody else when we all can be leaders of our own lives. How do you help somebody get access to that leadership inside them? And how do you basically awaken that leader inside of everybody?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this, we approached our team. So we did team building and leadership training, very specific training for them. So we weren't just training them in running and tactics and things like that. We were, having lean leadership classes for them. And it wasn't just for the leaders, the team captains, anyone who wanted to, and I preferred that everybody would attend. I don't think everybody did, but we approached it like everybody's a leader. We expect everybody to be a leader, whether you have the title or the position or whatever or not. That doesn't disqualify you from being a leader. You should be a leader. In fact, I think it's kind of like almost even a moral obligation. Now, maybe that's taking it too far, probably is. But I think that everybody has leadership. Everybody has the ability to help others, to do the right thing, to stand
Yes.
for the right thing, to grow. Um, to kind of go back to what you said, I mean, I believe we were created in the image of God. Now, I don't know what that means exactly, but if we're created in the image of God, then there's some obligations and some possibilities that go with that. I don't think the image of God is meant to do bad things, whatever, do evil things. I don't think the image of God is meant to hold your own self back. I don't think the image of God is meant to not help others rise up. I think those are all godly traits. So I think we should pursue those with all of our might. We don't, even with the best intentions, we're not going to. We're going to falter. We're humans. Again, we're in a rough state, but it's not about having failure or being perfect. It's about striving for that on an ongoing basis and then accepting when you don't. Okay, I'm a human. Now what do I learn from that? You know, we talk about, I think we talked about, like failure or conflict or things like that. Well, there's benefits from all those things. The best things we can do is fail. I mean, as humans, because if we're willing to accept responsibility, examine what happened, learn from it, and become better, then failure is probably the best teacher we could possibly have. I don't, when my team won, right? I didn't learn much. It was fun. Yay, we won. I didn't learn anything because what is there to learn when you win? But when you fail, if you accept it correctly, some of my biggest failures have been my biggest advancements as a person or as a coach because fortunately I was able to look at them sometimes after pouting for a little bit, but I was able to ultimately look at them and say, okay, well, where did I screw up? Where did I go wrong? What can I do better next time? And let's make sure that we try to make sure that never happens again. So now we're better for it. So now I've grown as a person. I'm better as a leader. And the next victory will be more sweet, but I probably won't learn much from that next victory other than that, I did learn from the mistakes.
That is so true. Dr. John Demartini, he says there's no failure, there's feedback.
Yeah, I like that.
There are different kinds of definitions. What is your own definition of failure? How do you define it?
I mean, if you're talking about true failure, I would say failure is not learning, not taking responsibility, because failure would be I've done something that I can grow from, and I'm not willing to take responsibility. I'm not willing to make it better. That would be failure because then you're not only not accomplishing what you should, you're not getting anything out of it. So it's just a waste. That's how I would look at it. Because otherwise, yeah, I mean, we use the term failure, but you're right. I don't know if there is such a thing as failure unless you give up and don't take responsibility. Everything else is just learning. I like that feedback kind of concept. So it's all in your approach, your mindset, how you view things. Do you get really embarrassed and or defensive? I can't possibly fail. Well, you're a human. You're gonna fail, and that's okay.
There's no
So yeah,